Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back to we're going to call this a holiday special for Seen by Few. So we're going to do something for Thanksgiving, and we looked at Thanksgiving themed movies, and a lot of them were just kind of like,
Meh.
do we really want to do Thanksgilling? And there was a resounding no between us. So we're like, how about we just cop out, and for Thanksgiving, we'll pick a movie that we're thankful for. And that's good enough. And now it's just a reason to talk about a movie we feel like talking about.
Yep.
So, and that movie is Fifth Element. You can see my personal private copy right back there.
Because it's nowhere. We couldn't find it anywhere on like streaming. So it's just gone.
Oh, I didn't even look. I own it. I just pulled up my get used to my DVDs.
Yes. Oh shit! I'm thinking about the last movie that we couldn't find anywhere.
We also pulled that one out. We also pulled that one out of the private DVD collection.
Yep. So. Yeah, it just there's not a lot of really great options for Thanksgiving movies that we just like really wanted to talk about. That was
Not
just like
really.
It's like total clickbait, you know.
And a lot of them had like a scene that took place during Thanksgiving. We could have talked about Spider-Man because there is one scene in which takes place during Thanksgiving.
No.
Yes.
I'm gonna cut you with this knife, you old bitch. No. It's does it fit the criteria? Sure. But, like, is it a Thanksgiving movie? No.
No, not really.
So
we just picked a movie.
No. Halloween and Christmas has stolen Thanksgiving's thunder. So, well, now it's just movies we're thankful for.
Yes.
So.
Which I guess will be our trend for Thanksgiving. Just something we feel like talking about that is, I don't know if it's necessarily good for us or, like, ones that we love or whatever. It's just something that there's stuff in it that we're like, I'm glad this movie exists.
So there's a lot of movies that the whole idea with this channel is for basically me to ask you about movies that you haven't seen, you to do the same to me. Mm-hmm. And then we have like, new movies, stuff like that. But there's like some old movies that both of us have seen that we just can't talk about because it doesn't fit the criteria. Like I guess we could make another channel where it's just like movies that are fucking awesome.
Which, I mean, we could just make a thing for it at the same time. But there's also so much shit we want to do that it's kind of at this point in time.
Yeah,
we got to pick our battles. So I think one of them is it's Thanksgiving. Let's just talk about this movie.
Yeah. So
that's The Fifth Element with Bruce Willis, Mila Jovovich, Gary Oldman,
Ian Holm, Chris Tucker,
yeah,
Luke Perry.
Luke Perry, yeah.
Yeah, it's Luke Perry night.
Is Luke Perry really in this one?
Yeah, he's in the beginning.
Billy.
He's the guy that shoots the Supreme Being, and you have Brian James, that you'll know as one of the clones in Blade Runner.
No,
not Rutger Hauer. Not
I watched that movie and I didn't care for it.
Yeah, you have
and it left my brain immediately.
You have Tom Lister Jr. I've always seen it as Tiny Lister Jr. as the president.
Okay.
You have, I mean, there's a ton of people in this movie.
Although when you look at my DVD copy, all it says is Bruce Willis at the top.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's top billing, of course.
Well, he's only billing on this thing. I wonder if Mila Jovovich and such has become big enough, or if she's become a big enough name at this point in time that if they throw it up, it's got a different poster.
So there's an actor in this list that I guess he's just so niche on acting that his profile picture in IMDb is a picture of the alien that he plays, I guess. So Clifton Lloyd Bryan.
Picture of the alien.
Yeah, his IMDb picture is the picture of, I guess, the alien he plays. But anyways,
we have the top ones. So do we want to start with scores and then get into spoilers?
Yeah.
So Lance, if you were to give The Fifth Element a score between 0 and 10, what would you give it?
I would give this movie I'd say an 8.
An 8? Okay. I was close.
Yeah, this movie is just a lot of fun. It's one that I definitely can rewatch. Super quotable. Mm-hmm. It's one of my top 5 favorite Bruce Willis movies.
Sure. I don't know that that's super hard.
I mean, he's been in a lot.
Yeah, I'd have to scour through his movies to find what.
If you were going to let me start this, I was going to start it with Seagram's golden wine coolers, and no one would have gotten that except for like other fucking Gen Xers. But I mean, he's been in a lot of
He
stuff.
has been in a lot of stuff.
So, but yeah, this is like top 5, super quotable.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's a great one.
Mm-hmm.
So, Nick,
Mm-hmm.
if you gave this movie a rating from 0 to 10, what would you give it?
I think I'm about a 7. Because I don't know. It's one that I do enjoy watching, but it's not one that I just go back to on occasion and just watch. It's not one that I necessarily recommend to people, because most of the time people have seen it. I think the fun of it is some of the weirdness to it, because this movie's fucking weird, and that's kind of, I think, the point. And it's kind of a very different vision of a future, or whatever you want to call it. And I find that interesting, but it's also not one that I just sit down and be like, what am I up? Fucking throw on Fifth Element. So it's not a particular high marking for me, but it's good.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot of, like you said, quotable lines to it.
Well, it's one of those flicks that literally it's a comfort movie for me. Whenever I see it on, I could sit down and watch it. There's no, in my opinion, there's no lulls in the movie. Like, there's something entertaining at every point. And to be honest with you, I watched it with subtitles this time, just because there's a lot of accents and everything during the movie. Like, even when like the alien creatures talk, like it's hard to understand what they're saying. So I got a lot more out of the movie this time.
Okay.
Watching it.
I don't think I've ever watched it with the subtitles. I should maybe do that at some point.
Yeah, they go painstakingly into trying to make it feel like it's its own little universe, you know. But there's could be some spoilers that pop up in that. So
Yes, I mean, if you've never seen The Fifth Element, it's weird, and it can be hard to break into.
here come the clicks.
You
coming up?
Pss, 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 pss.
You want to give it your rating? Huh? You want to give it your rating? Huh? You want to give it your rating?
I just want to walk around to the table.
Yeah, you just want to walk around the table? What, Mom yelled at you, so you're coming in here to mess with us in our video? Huh? The kit element?
So, this movie, I mean, it's weird, and I think the weirdness could be difficult for some people to break into. But I think if you can bear through the weirdness, I think it's got a lot of interesting shit to it.
Nick and Lance videos, now with 50% more cat butt.
Yeah, let's turn the butt away from the camera. We don't want to get age restricted.
You don't want other cats watching the video being like, oh, the last thing we need is more feline viewership.
It said this was for children. It said it was for kittens. It's not.
It's not, no. So
we just full on get into some spoiler stuff at this point in time.
So before we go into the spoiler stuff, just so we
Sure.
can add it to the front of this, the little thing I like doing to you, is Nick, what do you think this movie got as a rating on IMDb?
I'm gonna give an 8.5.
8.5? 7.6. You're very close.
Okay.
So 7.6 out of 10 with a Metascore of 52. So right down the middle. Now on Rotten Tomatoes, what do you think that the critics gave this movie?
No, it's hard. They're either gonna enjoy the weirdness or fucking hate the weirdness. I'm gonna go 85.
Okay.
I think they enjoy it so that they can seem smart.
Okay. 71.
Okay.
It's close.
Less.
It's close. I'd say within 10 is good. You went a little high on that.
14.
Yeah. So, but still, it's pretty good. What do you think about the audience?
I think that one's going to be higher. What was that other one? 71?
Yeah, so 71 on that one, yes.
So I'm going to go with... Let's do 85 again.
85? Okay. So the cat totally screwed up my phone when she just rubbed it with her head. So you were right. You were closer. Like, I'm glad you went back with it. So 86 for the audience.
Okay.
So
I was a point off.
yes. So you were damn near spot on with the audience. So the critics and audience and reviewers agree that this is a fun movie to watch. So give it a go.
Yes.
And now
Let's time for you to reach for your remote and go, I've not watched Fifth Element somehow, and hit pause and come back. Watch it first and be thankful for it with us.
Harley, you gonna go watch it? I think she's gonna leave so she can go watch it now too.
Or go stare at her food bowl.
Yeah, that's probably.
And marvel at its emptiness.
Yep. Nope. She's gonna go watch it now.
Okay.
Bye. Enjoy the movie. All right. So, spoilers. Here we go.
Yeah.
So, I'll go ahead and say right from the top. There is so much weaving of like. Do you not enjoy these reviews?
That Harley's not a fan. Not
No,
Harley. Haley's not a fan.
Hallie.
Hallie.
Yeah. Halfrick is just like, oh, God.
He's talking again.
Oh, Jesus. They really do a good job in the beginning of it of basically like spelling out like who he is, what his background is, who and what he's become.
Yes.
And like he automatically sets up the whole backstory of, I had a girl, now my life is miserable because she left me for my boss or something like that. And he's like, I'm just looking for the perfect girl, you know. I thought that was really like I guess I just really didn't pay much attention to that the first couple of times I watched it.
I mean, for the most part, whenever there's shit with Bruce Willis talking, is generally when I'm not paying a whole bunch of attention because he's not the interesting parts. I kind of enjoy like the Ian Holm, the Zorg, the Mila bits.
Yes.
And then Bruce Willis is just kind of the dude.
Well, see, I liked him because he's like a lot of the snappy lines in it.
He's got some good stuff.
Plus, like, one of my favorite parts of the movie is when Ian Holm hits him over the back of the head with his fucking, like, service award or whatever, and he does the, oh! Like, he put in, like, some super extra acting on going down on that one. So, plus, like, negative, I'm a meat popsicle. Like, that's,
that's good.
I love that. I love that line, and
there's a lot of good lines.
I say it at least 5 times a year. Yeah, this is one of those flicks where, like, I don't know. I just liked watching it back in the day and then watching it with the subtitles. I was picking up on a lot of extra stuff because, like, they established to you that this is the future. Mm-hmm. Corporations have basically taken over everything.
Of course.
And that even in this future, like, they've established we've made alien contact. Mm-hmm. We've gone throughout the solar system to, like, apparently we have light speed ships now.
Yeah, I guess.
Because they were, like, preparing, drop to light speed.
Yeah.
And it's like, it almost seems like it's like that.
Oh,
so like, they're like, we're going to put you out for the trip. And then they put the people out for the trip. And then it's like, boom, we're there. And it's like, did those guys sleep for 15 minutes? Because,
I mean, the people at the helm are awake. So I wonder if it's just you go through a lot of pressure or something like that, like to build up to the speed. So they just put you out so you don't have to deal with it.
So Ian Holm's character stows away.
Yep.
So like, what kind of hell? what kind of hellscape did he go through? And,
who knows?
And it didn't affect him apparently because he's like, "Are we there?" And the guy's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Oh, good." So like, and he's doing it in like the unpressurized points of the ship. He's like sneaking around the fucking circuitry and like undercarriages and stuff. So, that's something that they don't tell you, but like it's something I'm curious about because they do go through the pains of letting you know. Yeah, apparently we have to put you out. I don't think Lilu was out during that.
I don't know.
Like you don't see her go down, plus she's still studying. Like she's going through the ABCs of our history. So
it's a good thing all of our bad stuff isn't until W.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, she got to V, and then she gets a W, and it's kind of like, okay, apparently this is all a gigantic fucking bummer.
Yeah. It's human history is a bummer from A to Z, so that's the first accuracy in this movie.
Yeah, well, I mean,
start A off with asbestos.
Yeah, I mean, she had to hit slavery, right? That had to have been a gigantic fucking bummer. Yeah. Like there's so much apartheid. Like there's so much other stuff she should have run into. But neither here nor there.
Yeah. It's not the point of the movie.
Yeah. Auschwitz.
Right,
it's all there.
Right near the A. Near the A's.
Yeah. So like, or whoever wrote that particular like ABC wiki basically was like, let's just leave all the war shit out until they get like to the W's.
Yeah. Let her get to the end, and then so she can kind of experience the hopelessness. Let's not start it off at the beginning because that's a bummer.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if she wanted the quick lesson, she should have just wrote, "We didn't start the fire," and then she could have been like, "Boom, there. All right, let's go."
But she had to go through the M's so she could get to martial arts and do
what? And it seems like they started almost out with that, right? Because that's like one of the first things she does where she's like, what? And like that's when she's sitting in, she hasn't even learned
English,
common.
yeah.
She hasn't even learned that yet. But she starts like right there with like,
That scene, I like that scene just because she knows she's doing the whole thing. I'm like, that's kind of corny, whatever. But then she's like eating that whole thing of chicken.
Yeah.
And then she just walks over, puts the thing in, gets back out, chicken.
Yeah, chicken, good. And it's like a little tiny thing, and she puts the thing, pushes a button. A second later, it just goes ding. She takes out a gigantic roasted chicken with all the fixings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want that.
Yeah, it's great.
I want that. I don't know what that is, but it's amazing.
Yeah.
Because that chicken looked tasty as hell.
It sure did.
Yeah, I like that version of the future. Like, so let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
So basically, I had read something online where someone said, they said, I watched this movie back in the day and I loved it. And then they were like, then I thought about something. And they were like, the supreme being at the beginning of the movie when the aliens show up, and you have the 4 posts that hold the stones, and then you have the statue in the middle, which is basically the
fifth element,
the vessel for the element.
Yep.
And then they take all that away. And then Luke Perry freaks out, shoots, the fucking thing closes on the thing's hand, and they have the key. And they were like, later on when the things are coming back to the planet because the evil is coming back, the ship gets blown up. So they create the perfect being from the hand at the temple.
Yes.
No.
But I think she was awake.
No. So that's not accurate. What they create the hand from is when they go through the wreckage, the stones survive the explosion, and a hand was gripping the handle to the case. So so the 5th element was holding the case with the stones on the way back.
But not actually the stones.
But not actually the stones.
Yes.
And the hand that they recovered that was holding on to the case was the 5th element's hand.
Yes.
Well, see, this person was like, oh, so they rebuilt the 5th element from the hand that was in Egypt. And they're like, what the fuck does that even have anything to do with? Because, like that wasn't the 5th element. The 5th element was in the sarcophagus. That was wrong.
No, I think she was in it. And they would have just woken her up.
Well, in the sarcophagus, yes.
Yeah, I think she was in the sarcophagus. They woke her up. And she was awake on the ship. She was just like in armor, I guess, because the little thing, the little hand was in armor or something like that.
She was in the the armadillo-headed armor.
Yeah.
So, but like, they established that it was a weapon that was developed, and they also established that they're humanoid because they build her from her genetics, which were genetics upon genetics upon genetics.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect code, and then it comes out to something that looks human. So you have at least humanoid people inside of that if they built it from the genetic code of the hand.
But they're not necessarily all like that. I think she was just in armor. I don't think that she's one of those things. Because she didn't get replicated to him.
Yeah.
And she didn't look like that when she was in the sarcophagus either.
Well, I mean, she still looked... the sarcophagus looked humanoid.
Yeah. And I also don't even know if, like... Because we see the little fighter pilot, like, looking around. That could have just been the pilot, and she was back in the cargo hold, too. We don't see what happens to everyone else who's in that particular ship. Because it was a big ship, wasn't it?
It was pretty good.
And it was taken out by a bunch of fighters. So I think she was just on the ship. I don't think she was wearing the little robot, the little thing with the little floaty head.
I think she was because
I don't think
it
so.
looked like it was the armor hand with like flesh and bone coming out the end of it that was blown off.
But I think she was just wearing armor, not necessarily that armor.
Okay. Well, it's...
And if she's wearing armor made by those people, it would look
weird.
Similar in design, I would think.
It's like, they're so big and cumbersome looking that it's got to be like people inside like working it like a fucking thing. Like you can't be wearing it like a suit of armor. I would almost think that they were like running it like a little mech.
But we also don't know what they look like.
True.
Because we never see them out of the armor.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they were actually like, from what the armor, like they look like they had tiny little necks and then like the big armadillo head that kind of like hung off.
I mean, it could be. I mean, they had some weird looking alien things. They had the little trash alien, whatever he was, on Zord's desk. Like little elephant things. I mean, there's weird shit.
It was adorable.
It was adorable, but it's a weird little thing.
He did not deserve to get pelted in the head by a cherry. He's so cute. But yeah, so starts out establishing who Bruce Willis is, why he's going through like his fucking blah, which I thought was kind of interesting because, like I said, I didn't really think about his background. You find out that like Finger, the guy who owns the fucking cab company, I guess, served with him at one point. And then that was a continuity thing that I caught later on is when Brian James shows up and he's like, hey, you've been chosen to go on this mission. And he's like, why me? And he's like, because of your extensive background for everything that needs to be used on this mission. Nice. And you're the only person left alive. Yeah. And it's like, what about Finger? Like, you didn't consider him? Like, you went to Finger first and Finger was like, I run a cab company, you know?
Or he just wasn't that good.
Yeah, I guess not. But like the thing that I thought was funny about that was I had a random thought. And was like, who's Finger? Like, the voice sounds familiar. The internet seems to think it's Vin Diesel.
Really?
He would have been, what, 16?
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. So, but, like, it seems like nobody knows who Finger was. Like, I don't think he gets a credit at the end of the movie. He's not in the IMDb. But, like, the internet's like, I think it's Vin Diesel. I was like, no.
I don't think so. Was this movie 99?
So, Fifth Element came out in 97.
97, okay.
So, and like Vin Diesel is like nowhere near anything on this, but like they don't say who it is. Not that it matters.
It doesn't.
Oh, wow. That's somebody that we did not say. So apparently General Tudor is Al Matthews, who was the sergeant in Alien.
Apone, not Capone.
Apone, yeah. Apone.
Who is he?
Apone, talk to me.
Who was he in Fifth Element?
Fifth Element, he was...
Yeah, the name doesn't...
General Tudor. I'm guessing it's one of the dudes that was hanging out with the president.
Maybe.
I don't know. But, and then you had Julie Two Wallace as Major Iceborg.
Oh, okay, yep.
She was hot. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, it's there was so much that I got out of the movie that I didn't really think about the first time. It's like we live in a universe that obviously has aliens. Mm-hmm. And then the aliens, like, I felt bad for them because they're supposed to be the bad guys, but it's like Zorg even points out in the beginning of it, if you got a problem with like how people view you, like, you take it up with the government or something like that. Like, apparently they're another one of those species where they're just like, nah, we don't like you.
No, they also seem to be on the fringes too.
Yeah, and so like they're on the fringes, and they want to be apparently
and wanted in the weren't they like wanted like everywhere too?
Well, they seem like they're warriors, but like it seems like they've become extremists because I'm guessing they're getting hunted down because when they are at the airport trying to get to Floston, when they identify what their species are,
dangerous or something like that,
immediately the cops come running.
Yeah.
But you saw how they reacted to the cops. They're just like, okay,
yeah.
You know, so apparently they were just like, from the get-go, they're like, we're not going to get a fair shake here, so let's just fucking go out shooting. But yeah, I like the movie had a lot more depth than I thought it did.
Yeah. It's there. It's got some stuff that you can look into. I mean, I think there is some weirdness to it that doesn't necessarily all flow together in some nice, neat little... Because some of it's weird.
Like what?
It's like the space travel thing is weird. Like we're gonna get there in 200 years or whatever. I mean, that's weird. It's just weird.
Yeah, well,
I mean, there's guy got his hand crushed in a door, but when they will go in, he's not sitting next to the. Yeah, it's just weird. There's some weirdness to it.
Well, I mean, if anything, you at least expected the armor to be in there, right?
Yeah.
And then they don't do anything. Like the key comes out of his finger, and you see the key later on, but. I mean, did they get the doors open and like get the corpse out of there, or
who knows?
Because like his hand was crushed in it.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I guess it's possible that sometime in the future, because we had 300 years for someone to go open the door and go, "No, what's this?" and take it out. Yeah, and then just seal it back up or whatever.
I mean, honestly, if I was like some kind of handed down through the ages fucking like monastic order where it's like, you are the keeper of this, you study this thing. Here's a key that opens a crypt. I probably would go to Egypt and just be like, "This is what I'm guarding, huh? Big chamber, 4 columns, big circle in the middle. Yeah, it's fucking boring." Okay, so
close this back up, take the corpse out of it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, let's go drag the armor off and like let's go see what's up with this armor. You know, if I was Ian Holm, I'd have like pieces of that shit like taped to me when I was like, I'm the defender of the fucking Fifth Element. But like even then, it's like every 3,000 years, I think it was.
Is it 5,000?
It might be 3 or 5.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It's a lot of years, but anyways, there's a lot of guys who accept that mantle that knows they ain't doing shit. They're just there to like basically preserve the knowledge and pass it to the next guy. So
because you don't want to write that shit down.
no, fuck no, hell no.
You don't want the wrong people to find out about it and to go fuck shit up.
Yeah, which is, it seems like everybody already kind of knew about it anyways. Because like when she comes back to the planet, you had the people who knew the alien race, who were the old ones, but it's like they still didn't trust them. It took Ian Holmes' character being like, these guys they're here to help, and then like the president's like, all right, let them in. And then even after they get their ship blown out of the sky by pirates, and then they reconstruct her, Brian James is sitting there with his hand over the fucking panic button as she's getting constructed. And then how they treat her when she like busts out of the fucking thing.
And immediately try to arrest her or whatever.
Yeah, like it's, to me that was almost like best intentions, you know, like usually always go wrong. Because like this is the savior of the planet, but like everybody immediately wanted to start like studying her and like.
Yeah, but I also don't necessarily believe that she's the savior of the planet either.
Why do you say that?
It doesn't seem like they took his like Ian Holmes' side of it super seriously.
Oh, I mean, it's literally if somebody came out these days and were like, okay, so eventually the moon's going to crash into the fucking planet, so we have to do this weird ritual.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's going to be like, okay.
It's got the weird cultist of, like, two. Because essentially there's, like, the guy that keeps the knowledge and the person he's passing it down to.
Right.
So there you got the cult of two coming in and being like, oh, it's a big ball of evil. Shooting guns at it just makes it stronger because evil begets evil. You're like, oh, fucking whatever. And then, like, it ends up blowing up the ship, and you're kind of like, well, here our saviors are coming through here. It's like, okay, well, let them through. Oh, they got shot down? Fucking sucks. Anyway, back to playing C or whatever.
Yeah.
You kind of write him off, because I don't think you really believe him. You're just kind of going with it because he seems to be talking with some authority.
Well, it's not only that, but it's like, it's an increasingly desperate situation where it's like, okay, let's hit him with nukes. Okay, that just made it bigger and more pissed off. Now it's sucking up every satellite in the fucking system. Why is it doing that? Now it just opened up a radio transmission. It's talking to somebody. So it's kind of like, at that point, I'm guessing if there was a dude wearing a tinfoil hat going, you gotta believe me, you'd be like, okay, what do you got? Because like at that point, like, it seems like they were just desperate because everything that they've tried, modern, was not working. And then you have a guy showing up saying, these things are coming to like basically save us from this gigantic ball of goo in the sky. Everything you've tried has not worked. And they're here to help. It's like, okay, sure, let's let in all the fucking wacky suggestions. And then that thing gets blown out of the sky and it's like, oh, well, we're all fucked. So...
Well, I wonder if their thought was maybe to go collect her and bring her here. And we'll have her fight the thing. It's like, oh, she's the savior. Go get her and bring her here and fight it. Not the go get her and go revive her and let her go do her thing.
Yeah, and even then, it's like, whoever it was that was passing that knowledge down from, like, generation to generation fucking sucked at it. Because they did not know how to activate the glyphs. They didn't know how to activate the stones. So, like, it's like, okay, we know we have the fifth element. We know the chamber that she needs to go to, and we know the stones are important. But then when they get them all there, they're like, what now? It's like you figured that would be in a very important step, and even the stuff the hint she gives them is cryptic. Wind blows, rain falls. You know, like she gives them the answer, but it's still cryptic. And it's
maybe she's supposed to be there to be like, and not wounded, and just be like, oh yeah, you blow on this one, you put water on that one.
That's true.
Or maybe she activates it herself.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
Maybe they have to stay outside of the room and let her go deal with it.
Yeah, and smoking saved the day in this movie, people.
It kind of did.
Yeah.
Which is a nice little touch I enjoyed, was whenever he pulls out the cigarette, the filter's this long, and then like little cigarette bits like that.
And it was like for a day. It's like 2 puffs of a filter that's 4 inches long.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then even then, it's like everybody seems to be... I'm wondering if there was like a planetary ban, because like even Chris Tucker's character was smoking and he had the gigantic filter too. So I'm wondering if there was like a planetary ban where it's like, we're not going to cut you off completely, but you have to fucking smoke these until you kick it. So unless he was trying to quit smoking too, but like his character did not seem to be the kind that would give a shit about that. So
I imagine they just the Surgeon General warning is now just a filter like that big.
Yeah.
And still matches apparently.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with good matches, man. I mean, honestly. And even the ones they had in the future, it's like not the redhead with like the phosphorus tip. It was like they looked like black. They looked like they had already been burnt. Because the last one that Corbin Dallas had, it had like a black head on it. And I was like, that thing has already been used. And then he lights it. And I was like, okay. Sure. So
Something I noticed through this watch through is that he's had that little pack of matches, and he almost used the last match on several occasions but got interrupted.
okay, I didn't notice that.
Like when the people burst into kind of like, hey, you won the contest. He was about to smoke a cigarette, but he didn't have time, so that got put aside. So that last match dangled for a bit.
Fate. That's cool. See, I did not catch that. That's awesome. But I've been watching a lot of stupid videos, like survival videos on thing where it's like, you got a wet lighter, let me show you how to ignite a flame and stuff like that. Or like, you don't have anything, let me show you how to get a light. Yeah, it's stupid videos, but
It's like, okay, we're in a cave. Quick, give me 2 sticks to rub together and we'll make some fire. It's like, we're in the desert, we don't got sticks.
well, it's like back in the day, the cavemen like figured out how to use the sticks and everything to get fires. You have people who do it for lols on YouTube, and now we've gotten to the point where we're so stupid we haven't figured out how to make fires, with the sticks or anything like that. If you sent me outside right now and said generate fucking fire with what's in the yard, I couldn't do it.
Within your yard, probably not.
No. Even in the woods.
Actually, if I went into your front yard, I might be able to make fire because I would go to the car, unconnect the batteries, and just be like, kill myself, burn some shit.
I'm talking safely.
Okay.
Jeez. Okay, if you put that criterion, sure. Siphon a little bit of gas out of the gas tank, like spit it on the batteries. Yeah.
But with sticks, I know in theory, but in practice, I've never tried to make a fire with sticks.
Well,
it's not going to work.
In the old movie, you see the person that has the stick on the other stick that's like doing that. And then modern day, you see the person that has what looks like a bow.
The bow.
The bow that has the string that you basically you saw back and forth, and it spins the stick for you. But it's like, I'm not gonna have that.
No, you have to make it.
That has to be it's like something that you have to be in special circumstances to have.
It's just you have to make it. You have to find the one stick that's kind of like curved a bit. Get
String.
whatever you want for string, whether it be actual string or just kind of taking another stick, peeling the bark off it, kind of weaving them and turning that into a thing. And you also need the stick that's straight. You need a thing to hold on to it because you can't hold on to that with your hand.
Yeah.
You need like another block.
A cupped stone or something like that.
On the top, so you can do it. And then you need the tinder or whatever at the bottom.
Yeah, it's weird. Like,
I'm not going to just make fire.
Yeah, we have to have lighters now, apparently. And so I've been watching stupid videos where the guy's like, so if you're ever in the woods and your lighter gets, you take some of the plastic off the fucking lighter, and then the flint's wet, and this is how you roll it to get the flint. I've been watching dumb videos. But anyways, I did not catch that.
Yeah.
I did not catch that. This is skipping towards the end.
Sure.
But like Amber made an observation that I thought was brilliant.
Sure.
And maybe you made the same connection. So the fellow element shoots the evil thingy, and it crumples in space, and they're like, it died exactly this far away.
Yeah, now they got a moon.
Yeah, see, I didn't make that connection. Because Amber's connection was, I wonder if that's where the original moon we had came from.
Oh.
Like 5,000 years ago, it came here. That's why the element was already set up on Earth, and they destroyed it, and that became our moon. And now it came back. We stopped it again with the elements, and now we have a second moon. Like, I did not make that connection. And they even have the shot of it in space with the moon in the background.
Now, I think they said it was 200 some odd feet. Like, it's not where it was. It wouldn't have been a moon. Our moon is really far away.
Right.
You can take all of the planets, squish them to like right up next to each other, and it would fill the gap between Earth and the moon.
Well, I feel like what now?
So if you took Mercury and put Venus right up next to it, and then took Mars right up next to it, and put Jupiter right up next to it, they would all fill the gap between Earth and the moon.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
The moon's not that close to Earth.
Well, it's like all those planets, like all the ones like close to the sun are very small anyway.
Yes.
So
And Jupiter would be you can fit Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and all that shit between. That's what I read.
I mean, it sounds plausible.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a big spacer. Is that what it's called? Is that the terminology, spacer?
I think they're astrologists.
Okay.
Just in case Chris watches this, we can make him angry.
Okay, that's you go spacer. So, but yeah, I thought that observation was brilliant when she said that. I was like, oh, it's so if the moon that we have was further away, that just means that there were less people to get in the fucking way.
Yeah. I mean,
when it came to destroying it the first time.
She seems more on top of it every single time.
Yeah, well, this time there was like so many people that were fucking with it.
Yeah.
You had it, like, what was Zorg's plan? Like, this thing is going to come here and basically obliterate the planet.
Well, I think he was expecting chaos or whatever, and how chaos was beautiful because it had everything going on.
Look at all these machines.
Yeah, look at all this stuff. Like, it's order. It's boring, but you shatter it now. Look, you're creating jobs. You're creating factories for all these things that make these things. And
I mean,
I guess he just assumes that it's evil is not going to be that bad.
It's like it's turning over your planet for a profit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get it. Corporations are evil, but I mean, Jesus Christ, let's make a deal with an alien entity that I know nothing about.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a shadow monster that can make fucking raspberry jelly come out of my forehead, apparently. Yeah, it's like a lot of that didn't make any sense to me. I wish they would have gone more into what that thing was.
Yes, it was just kind of again, I think that's some of the looseness, I think, that I mentioned isn't kind of in the story. Because what the fuck is it? It's just evil. What does it do? It's evil.
Yeah.
How do you stop it? Good. Good stops evil, I guess. What happens if evil gets to the center? Death takes over life.
Yeah, stuff.
Yeah, so it's whatever. It's not important. That's not what the story's about.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's as far as we know, it's never succeeded, so we don't really know what it does. We just know that it speaks like it's butterfat, and makes jelly come out of your head. It speaks like the fucking dude from Men in Black.
Okay.
Edgar.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the entire time it was talking, like in the scenes, I was like, okay, it's a fucking gigantic black mass planet wearing an Edgar suit, apparently, but
maybe it's a moon wearing a death suit
or something, and apparently it's super fucking fast. Yeah, it's. I love the movie.
Yeah.
I really do.
And it's just for some of the weirdness in it.
Yeah,
like Chris Tucker's character is one of the best ones, despite the fact that his character is very annoying. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun annoying.
Yeah, he is fun annoying. I think it's one of his better roles, actually.
Yeah. Well, he's not really been in a whole lot.
Let's see. Rush Hour. Friday. Rush Hour.
2. Rush Hour 3.
Yeah. Was he in the Shanghai movie? No.
No.
That was Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson.
Yeah, it was Owen Wilson.
Friday Part 2. Actually, I don't think he's in Friday. The Day takes over in that one, so he wasn't in that one. I don't know what happened to Chris Tucker. Okay.
I think he is famously selected with his movie roles.
Yes, and I don't think he's been in anything lately. Although
no, I'm not sure of. I'm not sure if he's kind of like Brendan Fraser, where he's been making a bit of a resurgence lately.
So when you search Chris now on IMDb, he does not come up on the front page.
There was a lot of...
Chris Sarandon came up before him.
Wow. Christopher Lloyd came up before him.
Yeah, so... Chris Tucker. No. Yep, there he is. Rush Hour 2. Rush Hour. Silver Linings Playbook, apparently. Rush Hour 3. Let's see. Something I don't know. Or Rush Hour. Apparently he was in a Mariah Carey movie. No. Don't know that one. Friday. He was in Jackie Brown. Huh.
Okay.
All right.
So, I mean, he's... I just think he's in not a whole bunch of stuff because he tends to select things that he wants to be in.
Yeah, Dead Presidents. Something called Money Talks. So, anyways.
But I like his character in this one because it's just kind of strange. It's kind of... I think he said he based it kind of like on Michael Jackson and on Prince and that sort of just over the top sort of personality. And I like how Bruce Willis plays off it or whatever, because he's behind this whole energy, and then he kind of points the mic to him and he's like,
fine,
and then just continues on with it, and at the end he's like, next time I need you to be a bit more energetic, and it's kind of like,
can I talk to you for a second? Right over here. And even then that didn't deter him.
No,
because he's still got a job to do, you know.
Yeah, it's just he wasn't so harping on him or whatever, and it just kind of, I think, gave what's his name, I don't remember Chris Tucker's character. Ruby Rod. So that gives Ruby a bit more confidence in Corbin. Because he's like, oh shit, this guy's pretty fucking tough. So when all the shit's going on. And then Corbin just kind of like elects him to be like, carry the stones. Follow me, follow me, guy.
Guard these with your life. It's like, what have you seen in the past day that gave you the confidence to let this guy fucking carry the stones? But I guess you didn't have a choice at that point.
Yeah.
But like that's the thing I loved about that movie was I liked how over the top Chris Tucker was, and I loved how over the top all the Floston shots were. We're gonna send someone in to negotiate, and then he just walks in and just like takes out the one dude. Plus, I like how skilled his character was because it was like how many are in there, and he just does and then comes back and he's like 7 on the right, 3 on the left,
and then pops a couple shots in.
And they won't fight without their leader, and then the one's like. We have the people, coming in to negotiate, and he was like, "That's the leader," and then basically just goes and shoots him in the fucking head, and they're all just like, "Bip, bip, bip, nope, nope." But yeah, like that. Every scene in that movie there's something to look at. There's something like this.
There's some sort of craziness.
Yeah, Zorg going in, being like 4 stones. 4 crates,
yeah.
0 stones, 0 crates. Pack it up, and they're just like, I believe there's some compensation. He's like, oh, you are negotiators after all. Okay, leave them one thing. But like that, when he does the whole the whole diatribe when he walks out, and he's like, I like. Killers. They're cold and methodical, but like, a skilled killer would have asked what the red button was. And then you have the comedy moment of them all dying, basically.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, I like the shot where you've got the guys in the background and one shoots a net at them. They're like, eh.
They're just playing with it.
And you got the one in the front just kind of like, what's this red button?
And he even does the whole, he sees it and he goes,
he scratches
and he looks back at everybody like, guys? No?
Scratches, does the head scratch and then just kind of pushes the button.
And then it goes up, and you're thinking that they're all dead, but then you go back later to find out that like
the main one survived.
Yeah, so
at least that main one, maybe a couple others did.
Yeah, and then they all basically wear like disguise kits so they look like they're humans when they're walking around, which is another continuity thing that I caught. So when what are they called? It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
when they go to the airport to assume the guise of Corbin Dallas, and the one guy's like, and like the other girl's like, oh, we'll be back in a minute.
Well, it also seemed like he was having trouble
issues,
so maybe it wasn't working super well.
Looked like he was gonna throw up,
kind of,
and his face kept like rolling.
Yeah, it kept rolling back into the original form.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting how she had a human voice, with like every other person that was in disguise in that movie still had the voice. So it's like, I'm guessing you just didn't talk.
Yeah.
When you were walking around looking like that. Then you had Plava Laguna. That was another one of the alien species, but like no one knows what the fuck she is. She's the only one that we see like her in the movie.
Yeah.
And then you have the Supreme Beings. Those are the 3 alien species that we know of. For some reason, I feel like the elephant thing that came out of Zorg's thing, I felt like that was just like a genetically made pet.
Yeah, it could be that.
Because it was so weird looking. It looked like a flump. Like
yeah,
it had legs, but I don't think the legs did anything.
If you're thinking of a flump from D&D, it looks nothing like that. Or
flumps are like jellyfish, right?
Yeah, they're the jellyfish one, and if you turn them upside down, they're powerless.
Well, this thing looked like one turned upside down that was powerless.
It looked like a powerless, yes.
Because it looks like it just kind of like snorked around with this big thing, and then he just smiled. It was so cute. But
I think didn't he have it like later in his arms? Like it was a pet. It's like if you have your cat or some shit like that, and you kind of like, I'm choking. What's your cat gonna do?
That's true.
Probably wait till you die and eat you.
Where's all your machines to give you a pat on the back? That was like one of my favorite scenes of the movie. Yeah, like you have order. It's so boring. Like everything's. But watch what happens when I break this glass. Well, all these little machines, they go about and they do their job. Think about all the people that scene had me realize how that was like a commentary on basically some of the stuff that we let big businesses get away with because of jobs. Because the guy's like, oh, well, you have all these machines, and think about the workers who get paid to make those machines, and all the little children that they have who also fall into the job market. And it's like, I get it, we need stuff, but it's like,
but also if you go back to the very root of it, he's the cause of the issue in the first place.
Yes, his corporation and the amount of freedom he has with the amount of money he has allows him to fuck shit up, and I think that's a gigantic problem we're having right now.
I think that's a great gigantic problem we'll have forever until we blow each other up.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I'm also pessimistic.
Well, the way it's looking right now, I don't think we're going to be doing this next year.
I think people Like corporations played Cyberpunk, and they're like, "Yeah, cool." Like you're not supposed to want to live in Cyberpunk.
Yeah, no. If you are a decent human being, you're not supposed to want that world.
No.
But
And people look at it and go, look, I can have arms. But like, then you have to be on drugs forever. And who owns the drugs? The corporations.
yeah, and then there's apparently the movie. The guy's like, if we can make it to the fog, we're okay. Well, apparently everything on land, like, just blows. So all the cities are built up over the fucking pollution.
Yes.
So yeah, it's like every future that we make for ourselves looks fucking horrible.
It does.
And it looks like people are just struggling. You have a dude that was like a highly decorated fucking officer in the military that's now just driving cabs to make it by.
And with so many points or deductions on his...
You now have 5 points on your license. Thank you. I know. Yes, thank you.
Which would just be a fun thing for a corporation to deal with. Whatever. Make a car that automatically deducts shit. Like your speed, you lose a point on your license. Like, well, just make them automatic. Why am I actually driving this thing?
Yeah, make the car like shut itself down if you've got no fucking points.
Or robot cars that drive themselves. You don't need drivers. No points to deal with.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I don't know. It's like you said, it's part of the wackiness.
Yeah, it's part of the wackiness. But that does lead to, I guess, a little bit of world building that I find kind of neat. That, again, wouldn't really work, but it's kind of cool. Was when the guy's food truck, essentially his
Sky barge,
his cook boat,
right,
would just fly right up to someone's window and you'd be able to serve him right there. I don't think it's a good business model because you're cooking lunch for one man, and it probably wouldn't really work. But it's neat because it's kind of like you just get to go to your window. The guy pulls right up. He makes lunch specifically for you. You can have like that friendly conversation with him.
See, watching that movie, it's like we have Uber Eats that brings like, so you pay $12 for a McDonald's meal. You have Uber delivered to you. It's fucking $20 because you have to pay Uber and you have to pay the driver. Yeah. So that to me is not worth it. Now, if you had a person pull up in a fucking taco truck,
if it cost that, well, if it only cost as much as some of the other shit, that would be super. That'd be super awesome, but impractical for them. Because he'd have to charge so much money. Because think of how many people, in the time it takes you to eat your Uber Eats, he could serve.
But like, if you had a truck that ran from like breakfast to fucking dinner, it's like you started off in the morning with like a breakfast menu. You show up to this place, you make breakfast for like 9 people, and then you charge $50 a person. Like that's what, $45 a person or something like that. I don't know, but basically, you'd make good money going from place to place and like making individual meals off of your menu, because that's what food trucks do now. They pull up in a location, you order off the menu, and then but like it pulls up to your house to make you a gourmet, like the chef is making it in front of you. Yeah. Like you could charge
a lot, you would think, but I don't think he can, because he had like a little rickety boat thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that was also part of the appeal, because
thematically it just looks dope, and it's kind of like one of those things like, how awesome would it be like if you're just kind of, you go to your window, and your window is the drive-through window where the business drives through.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
It's fucking awesome.
Like, let's start a business.
It's not. Did you not get the part where I said it's not practical?
Well, see, but hold on. So hear me out. We'll have a toaster that connects to the car battery, and we just make toaster strudel for people. Like, we pull up the fucking toaster, serve them the strudel, and then we go make idle contact with them. Oh, you got the message has got to be good this time, or I'll buy you lunch. Like everything these days that shows up in the mail is terrible. So yeah, it's I don't know.
It's neat world building, but it's just weird. And it doesn't really work, but it's fine because it's not the point.
Yeah, it's just showing you how different this time period is. But
it's kind of showing you someone else's vision of a weird, quirky future, and it's interesting and it's fun. And is it the best movie ever? I don't think so. Is it a good movie? I think it's pretty fucking good. Is it infinitely watchable? Not for me.
For me, yes.
But it's one that I can come back to, maybe like every other year, maybe every third year, something like that. Just watch it again, because there's still a lot of stuff in it I enjoy.
I love Bruce Willis's character in this movie. Yes. So Bruce Willis just plays Bruce Willis.
Yes.
And he's gone out of his way to facilitate this man's man kind of character. To the point where I hear like it's difficult to work with him in Hollywood.
Yes, I would. I think it's difficult to interact with him in general, for the most part.
Well, I mean, he's built his persona, so it's like even John Wayne back in the day was in like westerns and like military movies and stuff like that, but like John Wayne was still John Wayne because he's built this fucking id.
Even when he was Genghis Khan, he was John Wayne.
He was Genghis Khan?
It's gross.
Okay, well, I didn't know that.
Back in the day, we just kind of take your face and go, look at this, I'm Genghis Khan.
Okay. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, well.
And when you watch old movies, you start getting tastes of that. Because there's tastes of some bad shit in this one, too.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of, like, look at Mila Jovovich. I'm immediately in love. Do you want to talk to her first? Nah.
Yeah. Let me kiss her while she's asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
does she talk English? Man, who gives a fuck? She's pretty. She fell through the roof of my cab like Kismet or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, they do that, like fall from the sky. They think they say like perfect women don't fall from the sky, and she falls from the sky. So like it fits the whole fate criteria, the whole him trying to light the match, and you said that he wasn't able to. Yeah. It lines up with the fate.
You also get the weird like the people who are the guy's like, oh man, she's got like the DNA is perfect and whatever, and she's like, oh, perfect. And the other guy's like, I'm gonna take some pictures for my. That's like, come on.
Well, I mean that's tongue in cheek, like lol.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know,
but it's still
a little problematic.
Showing its age a little bit.
Yeah.
Which you can forgive a little bit, but you still kind of recognize that it's there. Just kind of, you know.
Yeah. No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. So this movie was made back in '97.
Yeah, it's still got the its age is showing, but it's still fun.
Yeah, like when he kisses her when she's asleep because she's perfect. Yeah. And she says whatever she says, and then not without my permission. Yeah. Yeah, never without my permission. And he was like, yeah, I kind of figured that's what she said. Mm-hmm. But like,
yeah, imagine that.
Yeah, right. But I mean, he immediately like she pulls his gun and shoves it up underneath his chin. He's like, okay, yeah, I fucked up. But like, still, she could have blown his head off, and that movie would have just been over. But I still love the movie a lot. I think it's highly watchable. Everything that happens in Floston was great. What I did not realize about that movie until I watched it this time is Zorg and Bruce Willis's character never meet.
Yep.
Like, not once.
I think they walk by each other
when they get on the elevator.
And and that was it.
But like Zorg gets off one elevator while they're getting on.
And it's they pass by each other without actually seeing each other.
Well, I don't think Zorg saw them because Zorg would have known what the perfect being looked like.
I don't think they saw each other ever.
Ever. I think the doors were closing as he was basically looked into it, and he was just like and kept on moving.
Yeah.
But like I did not realize that the main bad guy and the main good guy of the movie, they never talked to each other. Yeah. And I thought that was neat.
Yes.
Their connection, I guess, was basically Ian Holmes' character. Mm-hmm. Because he had met Zorg. Yeah. And like that
which is another that scene I like too.
Yeah.
Because like he brought him there and he was going to rough him up and get some information out of him or whatever. Yeah. But then because he saved his life, he's like, I'm going to let you go because you saved my life. But
well, see, I think that he brought them there for information, but like the information, as you see when they go to the temple, is limited. Mm-hmm. And Zorg probably would have wanted more than that. And plus, you could tell he's a guy that's used to getting what he wants.
Yes.
So
and then killing people when he's done with them.
Yeah. But I mean, he didn't even have to be. There's got to be some kind of an honor code to him because he didn't have to do that. It was only him and Ian Holmes' character in there, and he's like, "I'm going to let you live because you saved my life."
Yeah.
He didn't have to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
But like Zorg is the personification of an evil character for the fact of like.
I think he's just greedy.
Oh God, yes. But like, and there seems to be like no, like, what did he do? Was he a weapons manufacturer? Sure.
I think he was an everything manufacturer because he owned the. He's the one that fired Bruce Willis.
Yeah, it's like the cab companies need to lay off 500,000 people, and he's like, lay off 1 million. And they're like, yeah, but we only need to shut down certain places. And he gives the guy the cold stare, and he's like, okay, 1 million, you got it. You know, like that was the cabs, the phones. He made a phone blow up, a random phone at the airport blow up to kill a guy. Yeah, it's like, what could this guy not do?
Yeah,
you know. His biggest weakness is he had to rely on other people who were not as evil and driven as he was.
Or they didn't check. His biggest weakness is not checking boxes. Not telling people to check boxes, not checking the box himself when he knew that like they didn't check the box either.
That's true. That's true. It happens to him twice.
Twice. Once because the people like, me didn't look at the box. It's like, fuck. Okay, I mean, I guess you didn't, but I'm still going to blow you up anyway. Well, and then he gets the box, it's like, it's perfect. it's obviously in this box, and then just take it and leave.
Yeah, just leave the ship, check it while you're outside the ship, and it's be like, now I got to go back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's... I mean, that's a great point.
Yeah.
That is a great point. Like, the fact of, what was the old saying? If it happens once, shame on you. Happens twice, shame on me.
Yeah.
And, like, he had no real control of the situation in the first one because it was like, you got the box, and he's like, yeah, I got the box. Okay, cool. Bring me the box. There was nothing about the content of it. If you sent me up to the bank and said, go get my fucking teller box, I'd be like, okay, and I'd bring you back the fucking teller box.
And be like, it's empty.
Yeah, I'd be like, you told me to go get a teller box.
Yeah, I got the box.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me to bring it. You didn't tell me to check it.
Yeah.
And it's your property. I didn't check it.
So I got that one.
Yeah, that would make sense.
When they're like, yeah, we have exposed who we are.
Yeah, we shot the ship for you. We blew it up, and we got your box.
Yeah. So, give us... We want to get paid.
Yeah.
Like, I got that. But then, like, of course, they get double-crossed by Homeboy when they go to collect the payment.
Yeah.
So, but, like, I understood Zorg's side on that part as well.
He's angry because he didn't get what he wants, but he's like, you didn't tell us to look at the box? It's like, we wouldn't even know what we're looking for anyway.
Yeah. Like, you told us to look for a box.
Yeah.
We brought you a box. And he's like, zero stones, 0 crates. So... He negotiates, gets the one box, which I thought was... Actually, I thought they were getting overpaid because those guns were fucking amazing.
Great guns. Although that scene is also one of my favorite ones, where you've kind of got the conversation between Zorg and them going on, and Ian Holm and Lilu. Yeah. Kind of that whole thing. It's like... She opens it up and she starts laughing.
Where are the stones? And then she starts laughing. She's like, yeah, I moved them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I thought was weird. Like, it has to show a healthy distrust of the human race when you go to one of your buddies from another alien culture and go, hey, you mind snuggling these stones up your butthole? And then when you come to do a show...
I wonder if they just got like a side flap or something like that. They can just store things in. And then Bruce Willis was like, in you? Sure. It's like, you don't know about my side flap.
Yeah, it's like opening up like the tail of a unicorn from Midway, like halfway up the back, and like digging around in there. And it's like, I've got a pouch on the front. Yeah. There's a pouch.
And it's the kangaroo. And they're like, we got pouches. So you have to go through the bag. Yeah,
my fucking curly Smurf head is also a storage container. You go through the forehead. No, you're heating the tip. Yeah, I loved the Plava Laguna scene, the opera. I think it's good. Fucking great. Mm-hmm. But like the beginning of it, the thing I also noticed is when she's doing the beginning of it, like it's almost like me watching an opera in Italian. It's like, I don't know what's going on. Yeah. It's like I'm watching a person sing, and I don't understand what they're saying. So I'm just like, okay, I'm guessing the notes are supposed to make me, like, emotional.
But then you're watching Lilu beat up dudes to it.
Yes. Like, for us, it's super entertaining because she's, like, flipping around and kicking people in the fucking head. But, like, for everybody else, they're just, like, stunned by how beautiful her voice is. Mm-hmm. And then they go into the...
Like, the more upbeat
yeah, like, the techie, like, heavy industrial kind of, like, sound. That has like the synth voice and everything, and I've watched so many videos of girls trying to sing.
Well, say you can't.
Yeah, like there are notes that we just can't hit.
Yeah, or that in that succession like that at least, because she would go through notes and at a speed that you're not doing it right.
I could show you something. I could show you many videos of girls trying to basically do it, and then they hit the note, and I'm like, okay, that's fake. Because like some of it is just straight up synth, and it's like I get that you can do it, but I don't think you can't do it without electronics.
No, not to that degree anyway.
Yeah,
you'll get your facsimile. It's kind of like you hear a cool song on a guitar, so you play it on the piano. It's not the same.
It's different.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, but like I think like everything that happens in Floston, like
yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, like the entire movie. Like name a bad part of the movie. I mean, it's easier to try and think of bad parts of the movie.
Yeah, I'm not sure, like, where your scenes, you're like, fuck this scene, it's boring. I don't think that there's really much of that shit. I mean, maybe the beginning's a little slow, but you kind of need to get that shit.
You need to know about the characters.
Yeah.
The character building.
Well, it's kind of, and it's better than a text crawl or something like that, which is how you would normally set up.
Like Star Wars and stuff.
Yeah, where it's kind of like, it's 300 years in the future, we need the fifth element to complete the thingy, whatever. And it's better to have it kind of, these little wonky waddle droids come in and get your shit. It's like, dude, the door's closing, you got plenty of time. I'm trying. I can't get through the door.
For all of our futuristic technology, we still look like walking donuts with armadillo heads.
Dude, put on Heelys or some shit.
Yeah,
Give yourself wheels.
that'd be super handy, but they'd go down like fucking dominoes if one fell down. Yeah, or what's the old Godzilla where he's like sliding on his tail? The meme that you see pop up every now and then.
Oh, I don't know that one.
It's like Godzilla. He's like in a slightly
Slip line.
Yeah, he's like like he's almost laying down. He's got his tail and he's sliding across the ground. You never seen that meme?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Just make me think of Gamora, where like they turn into like rockets on the arms and they just go fly through the air like that.
Yeah. But yeah, the I'll find the meme for you.
Yeah, it's not going to show up on camera anyway.
But yeah, one of the parts of the movie I didn't like was I didn't like the Ruby Rod going through Floston at first, and him just hitting on all the girls, because like a lot of that I just thought was boring when they were prepping the ship and they were like, oh, the parasites, and you could tell they were obviously like bobble balls inside of like
whatever,
some kind of gross skins or whatever. All that part was just kind of like meh.
I think it's just set up for him later.
Yeah, and also to show
we'll get see what kind of character he is.
Well, not only that, but it's like this is how Ian Holmes' character gets on the ship.
You need to see that shit can live in there,
right? Which just brings up the idea in my head. It's like how long was that trip? How long was he stuck up in the fucking circuitry of this thing? You know, like it has to be long. It has to be a suitably long amount of time, but it can't be that long because Corbin Dallas's fucking mom calls him when he's on Floston. Mm-hmm. And she sounds the same age whenever he calls.
I imagine it's probably more like a 48-hour flight or something like that. Yeah. Or something long enough that you just want it to be over with because you're just kind of...
Yeah, you can't go anywhere.
And then they can pack you in more like sardines.
Yeah, you can't go anywhere.
If they put you in the capsule,
that's true.
They don't have to entertain you.
That's true. If I knock you the fuck out, I don't have to do anything for you except wake you up when you get to your destination.
I don't got to feed you. I don't got to get you headphones for your movie.
So that was basically a train. Got it. Okay. They put you in a fucking cubicle and they fit a bunch of like seats into a train. So basically you're packed in there.
They get the Italian guy there to rub your shoulders. Mi scusi.
Mi scusi.
Mi scusi.
And then eventually you make really bad videos on College Humor. People doing really bad impressions of...
Yes, I don't know that he was doing a impression of that. He's just doing Mi scusi.
Mi scusi.
Mi scusi.
But that's the next movie we need to do.
Well, that was one that I mentioned for Halloween, was for Euro Trip. Because Euro Trip, not a fabulous movie, but it's got a lot of fun stuff in it. That just makes it quotable.
Well, it's very quotable for our group.
For our group, yes.
Yes. But yeah, it's
Miami Vice, number one new show.
Number one new show.
Miami Vice, number one new show.
Hey,
where's the beef?
Put him up.
Where's the beef?
Huh? Yeah, and then I think he ended up having like a cart that looked like the General Lee or something like that at some point.
No, it's like, is the train coming soon? Yes, train coming very soon. They're building it now.
Yeah, should be here in like 10 years. But yeah, I have a whole nickel. I go open my own hotels.
I quit.
It's like, holy shit. These people are fucking like super rich. But yeah, this movie is a safe bet.
Yes.
It's made by, I think it was directed by Luc Besson.
Luc Besson, yeah.
And you would know Luc Besson from like Leon the Professional, which is another one. Have you ever seen that one?
That one's good.
Yeah, that's a great one. And it's deeper than I gave it credit for.
Yeah. It's also like the first movie I saw with Mila Jovovich, and she's the reason I sat through Resident Evil movies.
Really?
All of them. I guess maybe the last one. I think a new-ish one came out. I don't think I watched that one.
I gave up a long time ago. I gave up on the one where it had the guy that had the two gold fucking guns. It's the guy.
Oh yeah, the third one.
Yes.
Yes.
I gave up on that one. I was just kind of like, meh, this isn't for me.
Extinction, I think, is the third movie. I own several of them on DVD because those are the shit movies I'd watch with my brother. That's the perfect kind of trash we would watch. And I put them in release order, not name order. There are some things I don't alphabetize.
Come on.
Like Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and War of the Planet of the Apes are all under P. The Planet of the Apes. Then I just put them in.
Okay, I mean, it's weird to separate them.
Yeah, it is.
So
all the Resident Evil movies go in order, and we got second appearance by Cat. She must be really hungry.
here come the clicks.
Oh yeah, look at that cat.
That's some prime USDA cat right there.
You want to click like for the cat. You want to click subscribe.
For more cat.
If only she showed up during our Harley Quinn review.
I know. I mean, I've had brushed her right before the review.
So, is there anything else we want to say about Fifth Element? 'Cause, I mean, there's a lot of shit we could talk about, but at the same time, watch the movie.
Yeah, like we don't want to sit here and like basically. There was a lot of stuff that I had taken note of as I was watching the movie, but it's like I think part of the joy is basically you just watching it and seeing some of it yourself.
Mm-hmm. And just enjoying the weirdness, like the Beethoven joke. Essentially, is kind of fun.
Yeah, thanks, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's. I don't want to ruin a lot of it. The dude who was the security chief. He's also a name.
He looks familiar, but I don't know what from.
I think he was in like some.
I wonder if I
removes.
recognize him from this movie when I saw him again. I'm like, hey, it's that guy. But do I know him? He's that guy because I watched this movie, or do I know he's that guy because I've seen him in something?
You've seen him in something. I think he was a rising star about 10 years ago, and then I think he just kind of fell off the radar. So his name is Lee Evans, who plays Fogg, and you probably know him. He was in Mouse Hunt.
No.
Something About Mary.
Yeah, maybe.
Doctor Who.
No.
The Medallion.
No.
Let's see. Ladies Man movie.
No.
Everyone's seen that.
No, I think I know him from Fifth Element.
Okay. Yeah, he was I think he's a comedian. He's like a Scottish comedian or something like that. I'm not sure, but
If he was in Doctor Who, I'd imagine he would be English.
yeah, he's got like a lot of comedy specials on here. But he's like in Something About Mary. He's like the foil in There's Something About Mary. One of the first foils. But he's like the modern day. I think he's trying to be like a modern day Jerry Lewis. But anyways, yeah, no, I think we're done here.
I'm gonna put a pin in this one.
Yeah, go watch the movie. It's a good watch. It's entertaining. Watch it with the subtitles because there's a lot of like heavily garbled dialogue from like the alien creatures and stuff like that. Plus, like there's a lot of dialogue that's said very fast.
Yeah, I think Zorg kind of says things through.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to say. This movie also shows how much of a fucking boss Gary Oldman is. Because like it doesn't matter what his character is so over the top.
Yes,
but he's so good. Like I loved how he was basically sourcing all the stuff out through like different people, and nothing was working out right. And then finally he just goes in and he's like, he wants to do something right, do it yourself.
and he almost did.
Yeah, well, I mean, he came close, but it's like you said, his old failing of not checking the don't check the box. He gets the box, he gets off, he does the look, and then once again you get the old zing.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's another one of those showing two scenes at the same time sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like, where are the stones? And then he opens up the case. In me. Oh, okay. What, you want to give me more information? I'm just gonna reach in your fucking wound. Yeah, thank God they were right there in her belly.
Yeah.
But yeah, he played the shit out of that part.
It was good.
It was so good. I think I gave it an 8. Did I give it an 8?
I think you gave it one more than I. Yeah.
I think I gave it an 8. So I love the flick. It's one of those movies that if it's ever on TV, if I walk by the TV, I probably have to sit down and watch it. So
yeah, I think watch it. It's good.
Yeah.
We can put it into our Thanksgiving movie because we're thankful for the Fifth Element.
Yes.
And I think you would be too.
Yeah. So enjoy your turkey. Enjoy your stuffing.
Gobble gobble.
Gobble gobble. Like don't argue with your fucking family this year. Just leave religion and politics at the door when you walk in the house.
Just go there, eat your food, grit your teeth.
Watch Detroit lose on football.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
So yeah, it's okay. Yeah, and just enjoy your Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We'll see you on our next Thanksgiving
and
special.
And if you're not from America, and enjoy Fifth Element.
Yeah.
Enjoy the bonus video.
Or something.
All
right, bye.
Bye, everybody.